Rivalries are great because of what's involved. You have two head coaches that are both played in this game, that both played against each other. To me, you can't make anything more than that. There's competitive rivalries and there's rivalries. Everything I have is here in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, here at Georgia Tech. This is the most important thing to me. There's a reason they call it clean, old-fashioned hate.
Well, everybody, we're here. The last game of the regular season. And up until this point, Georgia Tech started off great, but in the last 3 games, they've really fallen off, especially on the defensive side of the ball. After giving up a bunch of points to NC State, Boston College, and Pittsburgh, and going 1-2 in that stretch, Georgia Tech is left looking for answers. After being all but eliminated from the race for the ACC championship, and thus only having a narrow shot at making the college football playoff, many of the goals for Georgia Tech seasons that they once had are now gone. But one thing is important to remember. This is the game that has always mattered the most. I hate Georgia. I've hated Georgia my whole life. And dare I say, I might just hate Georgia a little more than I like Georgia Tech. When I was a little kid, I was a big Star Wars fan, and I always equated Georgia with the Sith. And that sentiment is stronger today than ever. I don't like them, and no Tech fan does. And one saying that rallies all Georgia Tech fans together is to hell with Georgia. Even if Tech goes on to not make the college football playoff and not make the ACC championship, a win over Georgia would count this season for me as an extremely successful one. And I'm sure a lot of Tech fans feel the same way. That's how much this game matters. So the question is, can Tech actually win this game? And when you look at Georgia, they are really good, and dare I say, better than they have been the past 2 years. Gunnar Stockton has improved all year, and it has been, in my opinion, a big improvement over Carson Beck. Their running game has improved a lot with Nate Frazier and Chauncey Bowens, and their receivers are looking great too. Noah Thomas has come on late. Zachariah Branch has been great all year. Georgia's offense is really rolling, and on defense, they're still solid. They're not as good as they have been, and they've given up points in some games like against Tennessee and Ole Miss. But overall, they still have a lot of great athletes out there, and they're pretty good. You look at Georgia Tech, on the other hand, and the last 3 games they have regressed, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've given up a ton of points in their last 3 games, and things are kind of falling apart, including what seems to be team morale. And I think part of that is that Tech, at least for a long time, is not used to holding success. We jumped out to an 8-0 record, and I feel like the lights got a little bit too bright for us. But one thing I know for certain is that under Coach Key, Tech has really elevated their play against Georgia. Each of the past 3 years, Tech has performed above their expectations and played pretty well. And a big part of that comes from the fact that Key is a Tech alum. I mean, I feel like this guy wakes up and the first thing on his mind is beating Georgia. You know, when he dreams, he's dreaming of beating Georgia. First thing he thinks about when his eyes open in the morning is beating Georgia. I know that guy obsesses over this game. And don't forget, despite recent struggles, this is the best Tech team in about a decade. I'm just going to be honest. I think Tech's going to play a really good game. I think they're going to play their best game of the year. Really, the question is that going to be enough? Because you can play your best game and still lose. I mean, look at the game last year against Georgia. I feel like Tech played better than their best game, and it still wasn't enough in the end. I feel like the lack of depth on defense really hurt us. We just got worn out and kind of caved in. God, that game still haunts me. But look, like I said, this is still a better Tech team than we've had in a long time, and I trust that they're going to play their best game. I think we got a shot. I think the guys could do it. Tech always plays well as an underdog, and it's fitting that this game has been moved to a Friday in recent years, because this game reminds me so much of my favorite football quote of all time that actually comes from a TV show. It's clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Tech, just go out there and get it done. Play your best game, worry about what you can control, and just make it happen. I'm pulling for you. I believe in you. Go Jackets, to hell with Georgia. Let's get a win. Deuces.